Recording, or does that mean it's starting? Welcome everyone to the Town and Community meeting on Tuesday, the 17th of September at 6:30 in the Council Chamber. Just need to read a bit of a preamble about recording. This meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Biddulph Town Council YouTube page. The aim is that decision making should be transparent and in the public domain, which will involve more of our community and local democracy. By being in this council chamber, you're consenting to being recorded and for your image to be added to YouTube. The images and sounds may be used for training purposes. Any views expressed are the speaker's own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Biddulph Town Council. For any additional information, please view the guidance on recording in public meetings policy on the Town Council website. Okay, so first item on the agenda, number 24, is apologies. Have we received any apologies this evening?
Yes, Councillor Eardley, Councillor Redford.
Item 25, do we have any declarations of interest, either disclosable pecuniary interests or any other interests? Item 26, to sign the minutes of the Town and Community Committee meeting held on 16th of July. These have already been through Town Council. So is everyone happy for me to sign those minutes? Item 27, to receive a verbal update on the Civic Award event on the 24th of September. I'll hand over to Sarah for that one.
Yeah, thank you. We've tag team this a bit blinded by the sun, sorry, which is nice, a nice issue to have. So obviously this is something we've been planning throughout the course of the year. It's been on our schedule, so we have quite a number of nominations for the different categories for the Civic Awards. So that will be next Tuesday evening. So you'll be very pleased to know that we'll have to have finished our finance committee by at least 6:30 so that we can all race downstairs for the Civic Awards. You want to have a slightly earlier start for that, or whether we're just going to try and do it within the hour. So the Civic Awards starts at 7 o'clock. A wide group, pretty much everybody we know has been invited to attend that, to represent the different community groups within the town, volunteer groups. So got a lot of people coming to that. And then there have been quite a number of nominations in various categories. Yeah. 7 categories.
So they were in business, community wellbeing, environmental, outstanding contribution, sport and youth. So what I'm really after is councillors to present those awards. Don't all rush.
Thank you, Chair. One I've heard about, but had no involvement in really. Are the successful nominees been asked to come along, or are you just hoping to come along, or how is it working?
They're all part of everybody that's been invited, because obviously it's a volunteer recognition event, so there's more than 46 organisations in the town who've been invited. Will be part, but it's for all volunteers. It's to recognise the hard work.
I just wonder if it's like an open. Well, you come along, your organisation come along, making sure the first nomination will be there. That's all.
Comment.
Do the hand, Councillor Rogers.
Yeah.
Do the people who are winning the award, are they told in advance that they've won an award, or is it announced?
It's like the Oscars.
And what specific role would you like the mayor to do? And I'll have a word.
Okay.
Speak to you after.
Ready when decided.
Do we have
Yeah.
the volunteers?
I want to work up to these things, you know, at least 3 weeks notice.
Councillor Salt would like to volunteer her services.
I will.
Councillor Rogers.
I volunteer. Good punishment.
Parks.
It's on the same night as finance.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've got sure get through finance in about an hour or so, quickie. Just to,
Would absolutely love to.
The urgent
do it myself,
items.
but it's my son's birthday and we are not here, so.
yeah, we'll go through the urgent items on finance and then.
I don't mind putting your name forward if you need any more.
Would it be a good idea just to drop an email?
Wonderful. Much. Who's judged the winners? Sorry. Well, going to have a little chat about that. I don't want to do that on camera because I don't want to discuss it. Oh no, but yeah, but yes, I'll tell you. I've worked out.
Everything for the civic award? For now. We're going to say that to the end. Talk a bit more at the end of the meeting. Item number 28, to receive a verbal update on the UK Shared Prosperity Fund and the projects.
Okay, so we've got obviously 3 projects that are ongoing with UK Shared Prosperity Fund. So obviously we have opened our mosaic bench now. So we've paid the artist and we'll get the relevant bits of paperwork together to claim the funds back from Shared Prosperity. That still working with the team as regards how we move forward our aspirations from the over 50s research. So I'll bring some more information to you then. We're hoping that we can use some of that funding for the health and wellbeing event that we've got in October. So watch the space for that. The Town Hall Frontage project is our final project that's ongoing at the moment. And we are working with the architects and kind of doing everything that they have asked. There's on planning next week, we'll have to approve the quotation for somebody to oversee the health and safety of the site, which is quite a large quotation, but we'll do that formally through the planning, through the finance meetings. Shall I say planning? I meant finance. I meant finance. And we've been asked if we can make use of an allocation for an event which needs to be spent before the end of January, and there's £1,629.29, which they'd like us to consider whether we've got an event for that. Well, obviously we have Christmas lights, which is a very big event in the town, and any additional funding for that, particularly given potential changes to the frontage, I think would be beneficial. Everybody's happy for me to kind of say, yes, we can spend that. It would be a shame to turn it down since we could easily spend that at a Christmas lights event.
That's good for one of my events. I've got planned, but no problem. Yeah, I'll go with the Christmas lights. I'd if that's a proposal, is anybody proposing that? Do we need a proposal in a second for that?
We're thinking that this would be a free event within the Christmas lights.
An embellishment to the existing event, I think, something different and new potentially. We've got Christmas lights to talk about a little bit later on the agenda, so perhaps we can go into a bit more detail there. But I just don't like turning money down. I think if in principle I can accept on email, and then as is always the case, we have to accept formally. So perhaps we can kind of defer the formal acceptance of that when we know what the terms are attached to the finance committee. If you're happy for me to say that.
Councillor Jackson.
Yeah, Sarah, could I ask that you fire an email out with all the costings that we've applied for and been successful from the Shared Prosperity Fund from SMDC, so we can all get a feel then for how much good use that this town council has put to using this money, and perhaps also. Because there'll be pots of money like this coming down the track in years to come, no doubt. And if SMDC is again the owner of that and the people and the body that shares that money out, better we can demonstrate that we've used it and used it well and spent the money within the tight time frames that were within the scheme, should bode us well for the future. And from the district point of view, I'm assuming that the district councils are getting a update about where we are from all of the projects that are going across the moorlands and what their spend is. And also, I think red flags should start being waved that if this money hasn't been spent, that give it to people that can spend it. If they can't, is what I'm trying to say is we've proved that we're efficient, and we've come forward with the projects. 3 very good projects and one with the Christmas lights as well. I just feel that this town council does what it says on the tin. It works for the community of Biddulph, and quite frankly, I just wonder whether all of the other authorities, the town and parishes that have actually put claims into shared prosperity have been quite as successful as we have.
Okay. Just out of interest as well, just speaking to cabinet members that might be sat across the table, is it looking likely that there will be any monies unspent at the end that might be up for an oven-ready project to grab some underspend?
Not the plan. We've been well on the case to make sure that money's allocated and spent.
That's good.
Although we've also asked to make sure that if there is any slippage whatsoever, then, you know, we find other projects. I believe there is a reserve list, and obviously the town council are one on the reserve list associated with the Vista Centre down at Biddulph Grange. For example, there is a reserve list for projects which haven't been funded yet. So there is an intention not to return a single farthing to the UK government on this, and we've been absolutely all over it. Every single ALT meeting, which is called, it's on the agenda.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
If I may just add to that, I was, excuse me, asked if there were any projects that we could deliver quite quickly. And I've sent a list of probably 12 that we could deliver within the required time frame. So
What's the cut-off date for this?
well, really, you need to have spent your money before kind of end of January, because you have to demonstrate that you've spent the money on your bank statements and all the rest of that. So whilst, you know, strictly speaking, I think the end of March is the deadline. If you've got to demonstrate everything, really, you need it all bought and paid for by the end of Jan.
Thank you for that. So item 29, receiving a verbal update on the Safe Places scheme at Biddulph Town Hall.
Thank you. So this is something we talked about before, and I've had a meeting with District Council and County Council representatives with regards to Safe Places. So the commissioning manager from the county, who's responsible for kind of neurodiversity strategy, and the community safety partnership at the district were there. The county has a small budget to support the setup, but not to deliver a Safe Places scheme. This looks like 2 years funding basically for promotion and leaflets and a kind of an annual membership of the scheme. So initially, if we wanted to be trial, we would be the kind of trial within the moorlands. Biddulph Town Hall would have some stickers that said this is a safe place. And also if people want a card, they have a safe place card, and the information of who you can contact if they're in trouble or if they need some support is on that card. If we're happy to move forward with this, I have been asked to put together a kind of reason why we would be a really good trial for the moorlands with this. That, from my perspective, is quite an easy thing to do. So obviously we've been a community help point, we are a feedback referral zone, we have a wide range of partners within this building. Obviously opening times mean that we can offer that safety to people who would need them. So if you're happy for me to go ahead with that, I'll put that forward as a case where we would be a good trial within the moorlands for that. And hopefully we can draw down some funding into the moorlands from the county to set up the first Safe Places scheme.
Any comments? Councillor Song. Do you have a seconder? Councillor Jackson?
Yes, seconded.
We all happy for Sarah to go forward with that? A show of hands, please. Thank you.
It feels like a nice scheme. And not actually anything too onerous for us because we already do it.
So the next item 30, to receive a verbal update on the Cultural Strategy Advisory Group and the Biddulph Arts Forums meeting.
Thank you, Chair. That's me again. I have been invited to join the Cultural Strategy Advisory Group. I think this would probably be a good thing for Biddulph. Takes a Biddulph hat forward to those meetings. And that's the group that will influence the emerging arts, culture and heritage strategy for the district area. It's got quite a wide and eclectic mix of folk on it. So I think that would bring a bit of perspective to that, if you're happy for me to sit on that. Before the kind of summer holidays, as they were, Joanne Blunt from the District Council came to Biddulph. She's the Arts, Culture and Heritage Officer, I think that's her title. And she was talking to us about the development of the district strategy and how she'd like to involve existing arts, culture, heritage groups within that creation. She was very keen for us to have kind of bit of arts forum network, whatever we want to call that. And for that group to then try and lever in some funding for existing arts provision within the town. And she would happily come and support people with that. Obviously that the kind of location at the unit for where that would take place, those meetings are here, so we would have to support that. And she's planning on coming to Biddulph next on the 30th of September, which is a Monday. So the meeting would be at 5:30, but she's going to do a drop-in in the afternoon, 2 till 5 o'clock, for anyone who wants to kind of come and have a chat about their arts groups or the possibilities of things they want to take forward. We sound quite positive, actually. She's got the capacity within her role to support say existing groups to apply for funds from elsewhere, whether that be a wider arts council bid or something like that. So seemed like something that would be good for us to support.
Yeah, I'm keen that we have a representative and chief officer. Thank you very much. Because as you know, the Arts Forum used to work very well. The 3 towns had a cheque each, and it was allocated by a treasurer of each of the 3 towns. And they all seem to fall apart. Hopefully, it's going to come back together. But the thoughts were, amongst the arts forums, if they're setting somebody on to do this, once they've taken their wages out of it, there's nothing left for the towns. That was a consideration. This is the things we want to keep an eye on, really. So yeah, please go along and please report back to us. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to mention about the funding. That was one of the reasons why it was the same with the Sports Council. They changed it. I've taken it to this one. Matt Swinton plays his umbrella or not. It's
Bill
Cawley.
Bill.
Oh, Bill Cawley, okay. Are we going to inform the people that we know about that this drop-in session is going to happen first? And I'm thinking strategically a little bit, hopefully, that if we could have some sort of a pre-meeting with these groups, that one of the things that the arts councils and these groups would like, if SNDC are serious about setting up the arts forums again, the arts councils again, that we go in with a collective voice and say, well, we want some autonomy from the district council when it comes to the funding. So that if the district council have got funding for this, that the funding is handed over so that these groups can actually run it themselves and give it that autonomy to do that. And also, I had this problem with Sports Council is, right, what is sport? I remember John Salt, God rest his soul, who would never believe dancing was a sport. But I said, yes, it is. It's physical activity. But it's probably the same with art. I mean, you know, is something like Tai Chi, for instance, an art form? Is yoga an art form? So, you know, what is that circle of actual, what is art, you know, and what kind of groups might say, well, yeah, we believe we're artistic. And I'm thinking that sort of the zone have got art and craft groups, and they would obviously be certainly one of the group be really interested, I would say, in coming down, and especially if there is a chance of getting a little bit of cash to help to run their group as well, would help them immensely.
Councillor Proudlove?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, the definition of art, culture. So, when Joanne arrived at the district council, I picked up with the councillor Corley, whose portfolio it is. She circulated an email which included sort of what the definition of culture was that was going to underpin the approach and development of this advisory group. And included with that email was a list of things that were to be excluded. And one of them was sport.
Was what?
Sport, which I took umbrage with, because sport is a big part of working class culture. And they, are, I think, potentially quite narrow in trying to define what culture actually is. The other thing that was excluded from it was food.
Food.
Yeah.
I thought that had been
Which is nuts. So
It's not such a broad range of.
oh, yes, like I don't of course. But yeah, so I mean, I think Councillor Jackson's right. What is art? What is culture? And it has a very broad meaning depending on what section of the community it's talking about.
Absolutely, good point. Sarah, did you want to come back on?
No, I was going to say that was the presentation she gave at the start of the last meeting was pretty much it's a bit of a moving feast. It's an evolving picture, really, the definition of what's arts and culture and heritage, and people have made some very strong cases about different ones, but I suppose as the strategy develops, I suppose more as to, maybe some things will fit more easily in other strategies.
And I think cake baking and decoration is incredibly artistic.
And if oat cakes isn't culture, I don't know what is.
Draw pictures on it.
The answer is not that the district council has allocated a budget for this, but they've allocated an officer. So it's not that we will get money in from the district, but she will help us get money in from elsewhere. So she used to work at the Arts Council, for example, so she doesn't know how to do these applications. No one does, so we'll see.
Body from the Arts Council with quite a narrow definition of what that says it all. I applied to the Arts Council for a grant towards a book about architecture and design, and it was rejected, saying that literature is not an art form that we support.
It doesn't say it's not an art form, it just says.
They don't.
Yeah, now if you book or not.
I mean, for me personally, I think anything that we can do to promote the arts, that actually do it in a way that's equity for all of the community. So, for example, some of the music events that go on in our town, if we could give those opportunities to people without them having to pay for it and let them experience some of the events that go on at St Lawrence's Church, for example, are absolutely fantastic. I know Jill goes to those quite regularly.
They've been supplemented, the prices have been reduced in some gigs because of the shared prosperity funding. So
You should say that.
Still, it's you hear in the news all the time how going to the theatre is not something that's affordable to all families, and it'd be nice if we could do something sort of promote that equity to access in arts and culture. I think that would be a real aspiration. Councillor Rogers.
Yeah, just a little update on anybody who didn't go to the arts forum meetings when we used to hold them. About there was 15 more representatives there every time, and just in Biddle. So there's a big call for it in this area. Thank you.
Yes, yeah.
So
So just moving on to item 31 then, to consider becoming an age-friendly community as part of the ongoing over 50s project. There's a little link on there.
Thank you very much. So I'm assuming everyone's had a chance to have a look at the link. I sat through a really, really interesting webinar about this. So there's obviously the age-friendly communities framework you have seen on the website is part of the Centre for Ageing Better. So within that, there's a framework that you can work towards, considering outdoor spaces and how suitable they are for older people within your communities, transport, housing, social participation, respect and social inclusion, civic participation in employment, communication, information. There are a number, I think there's 8 different kind of pathways that we could consider as part of that. I think it takes probably about 5 years to be a age-friendly community, but obviously you kind of have to go through the process of working on this, which is not a new piece of work for us because we've already started on this work with Bill Works together with the over 50s projects, with the, you know, all of the offerings that we've got in the town hall. It felt like quite a nice way to bring that together. There's no cost involved in it. You basically have to plan strategically for people within your community, which is what we've started to do. So it felt like quite a nice framework to link our ideas under. And I felt quite positive after I finished the webinar. I wondered whether it was something that you wanted me to explore in a bit more detail, just to see if it is a good fit for us, and have some conversations with the team there and see how we can move that forward. That's the side. Is there a cost associated? I don't think so. It might be, I suppose there's an accreditation later on maybe, but actually I think using the framework with ideas and pull them together in a more strategic way is so far. And another badge on the bottom maybe.
Need to upgrade to A3.
Heads on it.
Councillor Kasiki.
Yeah, are there any examples of any age-friendly communities and what they've achieved and how long it's taken them to achieve that
Yeah.
accreditation?
If you can go on the website, there's loads of information on there of case studies. In Manchester and have been doing it for ages and ages. There's dedicated officers and, you know, teams working on age-friendly communities. So there's loads of really good advice on that website. You get to share all sorts of information, you know, things you can, you know, things you say, oh yeah, we already do that, and things you say, oh, actually, we could do that really easily within our environment. So it's
Obviously, they're a big city authority, so it would be useful to see as examples of similar size authorities to the moorlands.
yeah, I think so. But I suppose in the same way that Manchester will have things that we don't experience, we've got different kind of town-based issues as well. But yeah, absolutely.
It's a much younger population.
Actually, so yeah.
I think it'd be interesting to see how that.
It is. You find most of these big cities like Birmingham and London are much younger populations, have much younger populations than more.
I think it'd be interesting to see how it translates to a rural community as well. Especially with the transport issues that we are experiencing.
Well, that is always the way, Chair. I don't want to kind of go down an avenue of exploring something and putting loads of time into it if it's not something you're interested in. So if you're interested in it, we'll do some more work on it and then.
Definitely. Yeah, I'll second that.
We've got Councillor Salt proposing that we explore that.
Second.
Councillor Parks to second that. Are we all happy for Sarah to start exploring some of that?
Yeah.
Moving on to item 32. I imagine Sarah and Jodie are going to tag team on this one. A verbal update on 2024 events.
So I just wanted to give you an update about the events for October. So we have the Health and Wellbeing Fair on Friday the 18th. That's from 10 till 1. So we're working with social prescribers to bring a range of partners and organisations to the town hall. So confirmed so far, we've got dementia, some life-limiting charities coming, we've got sight loss, mental health, fitness, the PCN are coming, the pharmacists are coming, got some financial advice, the SEND group are coming, North South carers, literacy charities, addiction charities, and obviously local groups and organisations. And then during October half term, we're planning a family film. Don't actually know what that is yet. But that will be on Wednesday, the 30th at 11 o'clock. And as always, that will be free for families to come to. And then other events taking place in the town hall in October. The yarn bombers are having a craft fair. I believe they're making crochet bats.
Crochet what?
Crochet bat.
Halloween.
When we did the frontage, lots of people inquired about the bats, and so they've made some bats. People can buy them. There's the repair cafe on the 12th, and as always, we'll support the cafe in a Halloween trail at the country park during half term for free. Complete the trail. Get along.
Sorry, Jodie, what were the times again of the Health and Wellbeing Conference?
10 till 1.
So,
It's
yeah,
an annual event, isn't it?
Yeah, that's become now.
Yes, I think on health and well-being, a safe, warm, comfortable home is very important to that agenda, and that's something which we're pushing at district when it comes to disabled facilities grants to actually do energy performance upgrades to make the home warm and comfortable. I'm just wondering whether it's not too late in the day to request that chap's organisation who should be member will keep
Green
forgetting.
Docs.
Residential energy services, they're coming.
I was going to say, yeah, because I wouldn't mind calling in just to see him and just getting some information off him, because there's a lot of things we could do with him at distance about it. That would actually help me. So you didn't mention those, but they are coming on.
They're coming, and Green Doctor.
That's absolutely fine, yeah. I don't know if you can, it's in the week, isn't it?
Friday.
Whether you can invite Beat the Cold, because Beat the Cold are the service provider of Staff Small District Council. They give an awful lot of funding to provide outreach. So I'd be very supportive of getting Beat the Cold actually here and doing the job. If you don't like doing weekends, no excuse for a Friday.
Perhaps a song. Have we got any menopause related charities or anything?
No, we haven't.
Well,
Thank you.
I'm suffering from.
It's all right. Just glaring. It's fine. Just.
It's a-
Has anyone got any, Councillor Rogers?
Yeah, I was going to actually see if I could speak in full council, but these will be read in full council. Anyway, can I mention the event that we had on Saturday? This is events 24. I'd just like to say on Saturday, it was a massively successful car show. And the main reason I'm saying it is I'd like to thank, we had more volunteers than we've ever had before, more cars and vehicles we've ever had before, but the day, due to the volunteers, the judges and the town hall staff, was an amazing day for Bill, which is talked about in a wide range at the moment. It's gone on YouTube, it's going viral versus the Bill car show at the moment. As you probably know, Councillor Jim Davis, as he was in the time in 2019, decided, asked me if I'd help him out with a car show. It was a one-off for his mayor's charity. And now it's become an event in the calendar, really. But the town hall staff running around all day, I think we nearly all collapsed by the end of the day. But it was a highly successful day for the town. And there wasn't a space left in this town from High Street, North High Street, Station Road, Wharf Road, King Street, South View. You could not move for vehicles and people on Saturday. Highly successful. So thank you to everybody. Mainly the staff in many ways for what you did on that day, but the volunteers and the judges just pulled it all together. And of course, the buses worked extremely well, which wasn't an easy thing. And I was actually shocked, actually, to be fair. I will mention the number. How many buses use this high street on a Saturday? I didn't know. 71. I found out on Saturday. This gentleman here had to sort out. I don't think we had 71 buses on a Saturday in Biddle.
Point of clarification coming.
Apparently we do.
Yeah.
So all in all, thank you very much. Never again.
Next year at least.
May I just add to something that Councillor Exeter says? This time last year, when that event was held, the number of Saturday departures was about 36. So the number of buses leaving bailiff on service on a Saturday has doubled.
So that on its own wasn't easy to sort out. Never mind all the cars and all the people. So it was a massive event, and thank you, everybody.
But it goes to show, doesn't it, the progress that's been made in some regard with the bus services.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely echo that. I've now got a nearly 8-year-old boy who wants a dune buggy for Christmas. So, Councillor Salt.
Yeah, I think we talked about space and just if it's minuted and then we can think about it next time. I do think that people have talked about like stalls and stuff like that, and to get all the cars in the town, there's no room in the town for any stalls. I do think approaching Kingsfield first of all, because it's not so far out the way, and using their kind of playground, the stalls and things. I mean, it's 50 metres up the road from King Street, and that might work quite well to expand it a bit more. We've talked about that in the past, but if it did want to get bigger, then I think that's a good way to do it.
What's the 8th?
Yeah, there is, of course, the opening up of the town hall frontage, which should be done by then. It's absolutely perfect for, owners club stalls and things like that. You know, there's always a chance to expand it and do an auto jumble close line, whatever, if that's permissible and whatever. But certainly that will give us an awful lot.
Never satisfied, are we? You always need to do bigger and better. Councillor Jackson.
Yeah, I concur with everything that Councillor Rogers says about the glassing. It's just grown and grown and grown. And I think the problem is going to be finding space.
This is an issue, where to put everybody in the future.
It'll be a big issue, I think, in the future, but it's grown. And again, thanks to everybody involved with it. Could I ask, if talking about events, have we given any thought to an official opening of the newly fitted lanterns? I know they're not finished yet. Obviously, they'll have to be after the brass plates go on. So have we got any idea, like when the brass plates might be fitted, and perhaps a bit of thought about an official opening? I know it's not an ideal place to have a crowd of people there.
Always be at the zone or.
Yeah.
Yes.
We did that. We did talk about that with the bowling alley, didn't we? Doing something. Just depends what you want that to look
To be
like.
fair, I think the Barley Mile would be a great shout because it's, the centre of that community, isn't it? That mining community and the big car park. And I know that Rose Hunter wanted to do something about
I've spoken to her.
mining. Yeah.
I'm very happy to officiate as mayor.
So can we sort of have a look at when the brass things get sorted about
Yeah,
picking
just looking
some sort of date or whatever? Okay, everybody happy with that?
Yeah. Fridays would be ideal in some respects.
Can I just ask
Especially the
something
Barley Mile.
about the
There's a question.
about the car show? There was a really amazing drone footage of the high street. Is it possible that we can contact the owner of that and maybe put it on our website and see if we can use that footage? Because I think that was just incredible, that drone footage up the high street. And maybe if we can use that for promotion next year for the event, maybe. If they're happy for that, obviously, if we can credit them or,
Just coming back on the open miners labs, 6 o'clock on Friday evening's been mentioned as a time when most people will be around. Don't know whether that's too late or whatever.
It's definitely got to be a time when people can get to. There's no point doing it during the day unless it's a weekend.
it might be nice to do something on a weekend. If we can.
Friday works quite well, Friday night. I think
Yes, it's getting dark.
It's only going to be half an hour. The actual opening is going to be over and dusted, half an hour, a few sandwiches in the pub, and everybody stays in the pub, don't they?
Look at some options, Jen.
Wonderful.
Some dates for you.
Is that an order?
Sorry.
It might be nice, I know it's staff working again, but nice to do it later on. I went to look at them in the dark last night, quite impressive. So if you started 7ish or whatever, did an hour, by 8 o'clock it's quite dark, so you see them in daylight and in dark. Just an idea.
Some options. Anything else on events? Are we just going up to October?
Yeah, I'll probably be at the next meeting. It'll be all things Christmas then.
And Remembrance.
I'm in the throes of planning an event. I've been given lots of forms to fill in, which I'll dutifully do. On the Friday the 1st and Saturday the 2nd November, eclectic mix of rocks from good regional bands, which most people on the circuit will have heard of. Little bit, you know, so we've got 4 live bands over 2 nights, which looking forward to, and support the Mayor's charity. So that will be another hopefully good successful night to reflect on. Volunteers required.
So that concludes the public portion of this meeting here, and we are going to go into confidential in accordance with the Public Bodies Act 1960. The council is to determine which items, if any, should be taken with the public excluded. So that concludes our meeting for tonight. Thank you for watching.